And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stand. Guys, today we've got yet another major update on Tommy Robinson. Look, it was a couple of hours ago, of course, that it was announced that Tommy Robinson had been refused permission to challenge his prison segregation, which was disgraceful in itself. But there has been some more updates from Tommy Robinson's team on the steps moving forward. So today we are going to provide you with that update. But of course, we've also got a very interesting watch of a lefty or a far left activist on GB News, of course, try and bury Tommy Robinson, call him a racist, but when questioned on calling him a racist, he couldn't give any reasons as to why he was a racist, and we had some news presenters of a different race, of course, stand up for Tommy Robinson as well. So don't miss that, we'll go through that towards the end, but let's go through why you're all here first and foremost, and that's, of course, an update with regard to Tommy Robinson. Now, of course, there has been a series of posts from his team since, of course, the verdict was announced earlier on today. The first post they said was this: important update on Tommy's situation. We're not even 24 hours after the judicial review application was heard in court, and I can confirm today Tommy is not working today and he has had his phone calls restricted yet again. He will not be allowed to call anyone between 5 and 7 p.m. today at all. So much for these alleged privileges. Following this, of course, they came on and hit out at the mainstream media on the way that they reported on the fact of the way he's being treated in prison. Of course, they said, or the legacy media said, Woodhill Prison Governor Nicola Mafleet said in a statement he gets 3 hours out of his cell every day where he can exercise, use the gym, or play recreational games such as pool, and another 2 hours and 45 minutes 3 times a week when he does painting and decorating work. His team replied to this, stating, legacy media printing the lies of the establishment as usual. How do they think Tommy plays pool on his own? They took him out of his cell once 2 days before court to paint on his own, clearly an excuse to put to the court. It's also blatant. Now, the main thing, the major update, of course, that I want to provide you was the steps moving forward following that verdict earlier on today. And Tommy's team said, important Tommy update. We can confirm that Tommy's legal team have now submitted an appeal of his sentencing for contempt of court. The date set for the appeal is April 11th. We'll keep you updated as always. So a major update there, of course, as Tommy's legal team have now submitted an appeal of his sentencing for contempt of court. But like what today's proceedings have gone like, you probably can't really have any faith in the justice system in this country. So, yeah, another major update on the next steps as such. But as I stated, we'll keep you up to date as more emerges from this. Now, don't go anywhere whilst that update has been provided. You need to watch this video, guys. You need to watch this video of a lefty on GB News following the verdict earlier on today. Basically called Tommy Robinson a racist and all of these kind of things. Tried to bury him, but when he was called out on why he's racist and all of that, it was and didn't have any answers. And actually, it took for some of the news hosts to actually step in and say that he wasn't racist. And one of those is black, by the way. So, have a watch of this.
Tommy Robinson, he's lost his High Court bid to bring a legal challenge to the government over prison segregation. His lawyers in court argued in recent days that because of the prison population at HMP Woodhill being majoritively Muslim, he would be under threat of attack and even being killed if he was let into the public wing, or the public wing, the normal wing of the prison. Anyway, he's lost his High Court challenge, Andy. Should a man, this is the question, should a man who's in prison over contempt of court, which of course is serious, but, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that serious. Should he be in prison segregation and locked away from seeing other prisoners and everything that goes with it?
Well, it sounds like he's in solitary confinement for his own safety.
Well, he's in segregation, so it's segregation, not solitary confinement.
So it sounds like he's segregated from other prisoners.
So why not just move him in prison then?
Well,
if there's so many Muslims wanting to kill him, just move him in prison, no?
Look, frankly, I don't care where he ends up. As long as he serves his sentence, it doesn't bother me which prison he's in. He should be treated the same as any other prisoner. And as you say, it's not a serious crime, but it is a crime, and it's a crime that he willfully committed. We've been talking about racist thugs. Tommy Robinson is another one of those.
That's not why he's in prison.
I was just about to say, I accept that that is not why he's in prison, but it is nonetheless true.
Why is he racist?
He has made. I mean, I don't even. I'm not even. No, I'm not going to justify your question.
Well, come on, because he would deny. He and his supporters would deny that vehemently. He's got, as far as I'm aware, again, I'm not a massive Tommy fan or anything. I don't really know much about him. But when you come on a TV channel and say this man is racist, you need to give an example of to what
he has made. All sorts of multiple. I'm not, like I said, I'm not making any comment on his supporters, by the way, because you can support Tommy Robinson and not be a racist. Tommy Robinson is on the record making all sorts of overtly racist statements. He is a racist.
Well, look, I don't consider him to be a racist myself personally. I have seen him go through the transformation, and people can be one way and learn other things and become something else, and that's what I see
and this is
in
what
him.
I said
but
to
the
you.
point of this is not about racism. This is about.
I agree with that.
This is what I said to you in the break. So I've always had this view that the people have propagated that Tommy Robinson is a vile racist. And I think there is some stuff in his background that you would think, I wouldn't want to be associated with that. However, if you look at what he's done and since then, the people that he has around him who say, absolutely, we're talking about Hindu people, Sikh people who say he absolutely isn't a racist. And then you look at what he's tried to do. He's tried to expose the rape of young girls by Muslim grooming gangs. That is a stain on our society. For that, and for everything else, there is a view that he is being shut down by the state and is a political prisoner, and I think there is some credence to that.
Well, Elon Musk did point that out as well. He believed he is. Elon Musk has said a few things as well, actually. But I do think that if you are segregated in a wing for your own safety because of the other prisoners, perhaps they might consider moving him to another prison.
Yeah.
Surely that's the easiest solution. Whether you like Tommy Robinson or not, Andy or Renee, whether you're a fan, whether you think he's a racist or whatever, surely the simple solution here is for a man who's committed contempt of court and his life is under threat and he's being segregated, just move him in prison. Why waste all this time, energy and money going to the High Court, battling the law?
agree with that.
Just move him in prison.
Or I would actually just get him out of prison and give him a tag, because I don't understand why he should be imprisoned for that. That's all I see. I think it's very disproportionate.
By the way, I genuinely don't know. 18 months.
It's just disproportionate in my
It's
view.
a meaty sentence.
Now, why is it always these left-wing lunatics that are coming onto TV and always use the term racist? I've always loved that sort of ethos. Whenever they come in and argue, it's straight away racist, shut down argument. I mean, it's not just him, it's everybody in the world. You could have a conversation with a lefty in a pub, or you can be out and about and having a conversation with a lefty and it's always racist, and it's just trying to shut it down. That just means that they've got no argument. They've got nothing to add to the conversation. They can't use their brain and elaborate what they mean. So they just use that as a shutdown statement. And to be fair, the legacy media, the mainstream media, constantly always do that. It's lazy, it's completely lazy, and it's just silly for an argument, you know? It's like us just saying to Palestine supporters, well, you're terrorists. I mean, again, you're trying to have an argument, you're trying to have a conversation about things. But to be fair, if you've been following Tommy Robinson's stuff, then of course you would realise that he's not racist. He never said any racist things. Now, again, you don't have to love or adore him or anything like this or be a supporter as such. But again, you can't just be coming out there and just saying baseless facts or baseless things like that about an individual and saying that he's racist. We'll come up with the evidence, show us the evidence of what you mean by someone's racist, and then present it, and then present your case. But again, someone came unprepared, no information, no evidence as such, and no facts, and just doing his typical left-wing lunatic traits and just trying to shut down a conversation by calling someone racist as a default statement, which is completely wrong. But they will never learn, and they're always doing that. They're always trying to push that agenda. And again, it's completely unfair, but you'll probably notice that most of the times in life. But Tommy Robinson isn't a racist person. He's never said a racist thing. And again, you said a black news host there, of course, stand up for him saying that he's not racist. So again, make it make sense. But again, the mainstream media do a great job at psyoping people. I was one of those people. I'll put my hands up. I was one of those people, not necessarily as far as him as such, but I heard the name Tommy Robinson in, 2015, and I'd be like, oh, he's racist and all that thing. I was psyoped. I was psyoped then. I was a psyop. I was a product of programming by the mainstream media, and I just listened to everything. But it takes time and takes time to dig, and then you actually realize that they're trying to psyop you. They're trying to tell you this thing, that someone's racist, trying to persuade you and brainwash you to thinking, or trying to show you the way to think. It was the same with Donald Trump. He's called racist and all of these kind of things. But actually, when you realize and study Donald Trump, he ain't racist. It's just the psyoping, it's the programming of the mainstream media to fit the governmental programming. And Tommy Robinson, unfortunately, is enemy of the state #1, and of course he is going to be getting the wrath of the mainstream media, and the mainstream media will do their best to silence every single individual like that guy that can't show any evidence whatsoever. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on the update. Let me know your thoughts on that reactionary video as well down in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.